Good morning to you. Okay, give the time here. It's 8:27, 25th of what's the date here? Can't even see this thing. 29th of May. Okay. There's a menorah. 7 candles in the menorah. Center candle is referred to as Jesus Yeshua, the servant candle. How many candles on each side? How many days in a week? He was cut off in the middle of the week. Where's the middle of the week? Duh. Okay? Be aware what people are teaching. Okay? I just watched an old YouTube I just did with, Popeye's restaurant with another fellow I'd met at the soup kitchen. Might go down to the soup kitchen today. It's a little early. I'm limping around. My car's limping around. I actually took the battery out, put in another one. Got that out to a shop north of town here. Okay, on and on and on. But here, I saw this. Okay, I'm going to turn this rather than this way. Because actually that, I think, actually works better on YouTube. Okay. Because the other in the video was just narrow strip. Actually works better this way with the camera. Count to Omar. Yeah, okay. He gets into... He's actually a music teacher. He's likes to do this stuff.
From God a Minute, we're going to talk about Caleb and how this could relate to our timeline of getting raptured this year. We might be raptured in 2025 on Feast of Weeks. Here's our ladder, though. We've been doing this. This is
Chuck Mesler, Koya Ministry, taught that too a little bit. Okay. Hey, we're all human, you know. Just because Chuck Mesler taught it 1 hour ago. So this is a new one. I don't think I've even watched this one last night. I was watching it at the famous Tim Hortons in Canada here. He had a chat line trying to get through to him. But
so
no.
I talked about this, how in Genesis 6, what we have here is we have 7 Sabbaths hidden under the text of Genesis 6 when God is giving Noah the measurements of the ark. We also have the word Bekur coded. I found that. It's the orange letters there. So Bekur is the word for first fruits in Leviticus 23:17.
Okay,
so
first fruits.
First fruits after 7 Sabbaths is coded in the Noah's Ark story. And then I actually found some more details over here. And I'm going to talk about Caleb, but I just wanted to just throw this out.
He mentioned first fruits, okay? I was just into that, and I got 2 Bibles here. Okay, so we're going to go into this one here. This way I can go back and forth. They're almost identical, the Bibles. Larger print ones here, okay? People like, just a little comment, happen to be in Malachi. People say, oh, that's in the Old Testament, but they sure like this one about the tithing, don't they? Okay. And press the hireling. It's in context. You press the hireling. You don't pay him properly. You bring that to his house. You should bless this. He will not bless that. Anything taken by force or by deception is a form of stealing. Hey, that's including interest on money. Did you know that? They don't want to teach that. Oh, it's just excessive interest, huh? Like a woman's a little bit pregnant, right? It's biblically referred to as usury. It's a form of stealing from the poor. Yeah, force them to pay when they're not yet profitable. Most businesses take, 3 to 5 years to become profitable. You're forcing them. Okay, now, see, a gain on an investment is only returned when the business is prospering. What was I looking for? Revelation 14. Okay, he mentioned first fruits. Here, we're going to have a look at something here. What's it say here? First fruits unto God. Think that might be connected? I sure think so. This is Revelation chapter 14. There, chapter 14. This is the 144,000. Okay. Oh, but I thought they're supposed to be not defiled with women, for they are virgins. Hey, how come they couldn't find Lazarus at the dinner party? Because he wasn't old anymore. We're gonna all be youthful virgins when we're resurrected. Okay? Like, whoa. But they want to teach it's all in the future here yet. Well, it's all in the future. Oh, sorry. Like, Pentecost happened. Okay? Like, what? You know, they Luke, Matthew, most people don't want, they discredit Matthew here. What Matthew is different than the other Gospels in that he's teaching everything that was prophetic about what Jesus, Yeshua, performed. Yeah, healing the blind. That was a major sign of being their Messiah. Okay? The other Gospels are somewhat different. Written to the Gentiles. They don't know the Torah. So yeah. Matthew 27. What does it say? And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose. This is on the day of the Hebrew high annual Passover. Okay? This is the Passover, not Easter bunnies. Good Friday. Okay? It talks about and came out of the graves. No, they didn't roll out of the graves, above ground graves, because of the earthquake, and they rolled into the city. The graves are down the hill. Jerusalem's on top of the hill. They rolled up the hill. Like, how twisted. And the centurion was totally shocked. Oh, why? Well, he saw earthquakes before, probably. He's been around the Mediterranean. There's earthquakes. Okay? What? But he didn't see graves open up and people walking around. Make movies about the zombies. Yeah, The Walking Dead. Ooh, ooh. But of course they died again. Really? No. And we can go to First Thessalonians. Okay, Thessalonians. The T's are all together in this Bible. The Hebrews, they put even Daniel on a different section. They didn't like Daniel. It was too precise. So we'll stuff him in a different section. My wife contradicted that. Well, it's in her great big Hebrew book. Hebrew on the one side, it's only the Old Testament, the Torah. What am I going to? First Thessalonians 4. Yeah, okay. Here's 5. Okay, so this is chapter 4, this chapter. Here, start at 14. What does it say? See, most people want to read maybe 15, but for the Lord shall descend from heaven. Okay, and the dead in Christ shall be resurrected. They like to read that one. People try to discredit that even. And which sleep in Jesus, verse 14. You take a little note here. The numbers, Revelation 4:14, and this is 1 Thessalonians 4:14. Just a flip of the numbers. Just circumstantial, huh? Which sleep in Jesus. So they came from some cave somewhere? They were sleeping with Enoch in some cave somewhere? Yeah. People teach that Enoch didn't go to the third heaven like Elijah. What? Take a whole verse, John 3:13, out of context. Only Jesus that came from heaven went to heaven. Unbelievable. That's, my wife doesn't like me saying that. All things are possible. Only believe. But what does human reasoning say? Well, of course they died again. Really? Of course Lazarus died again. Then the preacher says, just believe and you'll never die. Hey, Lazarus walked with, knew Jesus, but he died. I think he's talking about after we're resurrected. See, we're taught that it's out of body stuff. That's Canaanite. The Orthodox Jews traveled the Mediterranean before they were enslaved. So they have different people affected from this Canaanite viewpoint. The spirit hovers around for 3 days. Heard that at a cemetery. A young guy died, got dragged out of his car. Hey, I believe I had a confirmation. A guy showed up later. Young man bore fruit. I shared that with the mother. Okay? But the father believes, what? The spirit hovers around for 4 days. Really? Huh? No man defraud his brother. Defraud your brother? How do you defraud? Well, you only tell him a twisted half-truth, which sleep in Jesus. See? What are they teaching? That we're supposed to follow these teachers? And they were supposed to give to them to defraud their brother. Yeah. And they get to travel around the world on a nice, comfortable lifestyle. Wow. Some of them go to how many times on these tours around the world? Hey, got another conference. Yeah, really. Ecumenical function in Ottawa now. They went to a conference on a Caribbean cruise boat after they got back from the Israeli tour. Some of them, like, they think of nothing of going there. Should I say the names? I just found out he got back. He's going this fall again. What? Some of the airlines are even cut off. It's kind of dangerous. They don't even fly to Israel anymore. But he's going twice in the same year.
But you kind of quickly. So what we have here in Genesis 38,
there we go.
Every 49th letter spells the genealogy from.
I don't know. That maybe gets a little confusing when he's speaking and I'm speaking. So anyway, on and on. I watched some other YouTubes. I found my YouTube on another thing this morning here. I looked it up. Okay, maybe we can go back to that one. Where was that? Kind of nice to see. Here, cancel that one out. Maybe it goes back there. Okay. Okay, where are we? There, Rapture caught up, not during Pentecost. I wrote this out. Here. I think this is the one I got. Maybe somebody else did that same mistake. Oh, I think they did the same mistake. See, that's when we had the phone upright. Okay. So, hey, it's a learning process.
So the first of the feast or festivals begins in the spring. This is the main festival, the beginning of the Jewish calendar.
See, he's a senior too.
Passover feast or festival. It's found in Leviticus 23, 4 through 8. This feast remembers the last plague in Egypt when the angel of death passed over the children of Israel who applied the blood of the lamb to their doors.
Okay, I think he's another one that's promoting this idea. Jesus fulfills Passover, Pentecost. Okay. They're teaching that it's all in the future yet. This is part of the catching up, the rapture. Really? Pentecost happened 1997 years ago. Yeah, I believe the calendar should start at his death and resurrection by his shed blood. Okay? He became the second Adam. One guy says, well, that sounds Mormon. Well, I can't help it. They got a few things a little bit right, you know. You twist their other doctrines. That's what a half of truth does. You tell a little bit, and then you spin your own teaching around it. People get caught in the courtroom. Oh, they're saying a little bit of truth. Yeah. But then they get caught in contradictory stories. Okay, I can't go back here. Maybe what this fella here is kind of interesting. He had short little blurps all the time. Now he's got the longer ones. I don't know. Maybe this is still working. Might run off again. Have to here we go. This is a fella I met at the soup kitchen. We went down, it was raining, so we went to a local restaurant.
Okay. We're in Calgary, Alberta, Canada here.
Yeah, Calgary, Alberta. There's my phone number. Not hiding nothing. How many of them don't want to put stuff? I put it right up front.
John 5. Okay.
Thought I'd get swamped by calls. I'm not. People are so afraid to put their phone number out there. I know. My wife got blocked off of Facebook one time. Oversized homemade firecrackers going off in Gaza. By the way, Mr. American, you know why Gaza exists? Yeah. UN and US forced it in.
Step out in faith, trusting the God that believes it. He's able to lead God.
So I was just sharing that with the young guy. He's from the east coast of Canada. So you can tell by his accent, it's different than ours out west here. Okay. But if they talk real fast, you kind of have a hard time understanding them. Okay, what was I gonna? Anyway, they just teach, pluck a verse out here or there. Galatians. Yeah, we were going through that at a Lutheran study early in the morning. Yeah, I just ended up over there because they actually rent the building to the Seventh-day Adventists. A bunch of Filipinos there. My wife is Filipino, but she doesn't want to go there. Yeah, well, okay. I wanted a book that they used to use more called The Great Controversy. It's more historical. Okay? Like, don't use these things as doctrine. But it's got some historical and I gave it to the colonies, the Hutterite colonies. Okay? And why? It has the history of them in Russia coming out. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, well, some of them start learning the Hebrew days and stuff, and they start coming out. One colony up near Lloydminster, Fort Pitt, I think it's called, is no longer associated with the other ones. The other ones want to teach, stay in the ark, like stay in the colony. That's their salvation. Well, the one guy I help him and his brothers left. Only one brother out of the whole family left there now. Okay. Their grandmother came from the U.S. Was teaching to be born again. John 3:16. Okay. No, they don't like that. Just stay in the colony. Sounds nice. How many people say stay in the ark? Sounds reasonable. Noah was preserved on the ark. Yeah, well, in context with Lot, they both died after their events. They both need resurrected. See? And the opposite to building with Lot is tearing down. But what are they doing? Oh, they got the building program. Where's all the people coming from? Most of them are not Canadian. From, the different places they're filling up with Asians and from Africans. And people wonder where all the people are coming from. One country, Nigeria, has 5 times the population of all of Canada. See? California has as much population as all of Canada. Okay? Well, where do you want to be for business? Nice California. But now they're moving up to Idaho. Why? They can bring their yachts all the way up the Columbia River. They put canal-like docks all the way up, power plants. And they bring ocean tankers for shipping grain out of Idaho. Most Canadians and people don't understand this. Okay? There's a lot of politics involved with all this stuff. They were preventing the grain from going there. They put the railway south. No, the better freight route system goes through Edmonton, Alberta. That's why it's a capital. Out to the coast. It goes down the valley. Through Jasper Park, which I believe something like Maui, they let it burn. Okay? Yeah, there's evidence there. Town wanted to do control burns. I talked to a counselor the other day, happened to be in town here, and he's from the town council of Banff, Alberta, kind of a famous tour spot in the mountains there. The town itself is not that big, 3 times the population of the town in the tour seasons. Yeah, it's a tourist town in the mountains there. Banff, Alberta. Very scenic mountains. Lake Louise there with the crystal clear water on it. Okay. They have bus tours out there. Bus tour of the glacier. It's been getting a lot smaller for the last 200 and some years. They know that. The rock up high. What happened 200 and some years ago? Volcanoes went off. It turned cold in the UK. They lost their vineyards. Yeah, it was very warm 500 years ago. Time of the Reformation. Hey, calendars were changed. Different things happened. But here we got preparation of the day of Pentecost, the feast days. Okay. You have to go through each one, but the one guy's because Chuck Mesler taught it or something. Well, so what is he following? Hey, a lot of Americans are pre-trib. Hey, tell that to a person in Africa that lost most of their family, that there was no tribulation. Just a little border dispute in Congo and parts of Nigeria. Just a little border dispute. The media is not telling us. They're not telling us the Mexican volcano going off. The Mexican truck driver didn't even know. They had to call him from the airport here. What do you think was so dry up north? Well, it's flooding in Cuba and Caribbean, even before the hurricane came in. What causes hurricanes? The volcanoes in the ocean off of Africa. That's why the hurricanes hit most of the time the East Coast. When the lava was flowing in at Hawaii, you saw the pictures of the steam. How warm do you think the surface of the temperature of the water is? And the stepson's down in San Diego. That's where that plane crashed. I knew it online before he knew it. He lives there. Okay, yeah. I saw the water tower in the background. The plane hits on the other side. A little comment on the guy, a plane pilot, has his nice uniform on. Had a recording from the tower, something about the weather. What station beacon wasn't working. Well, that beacon, I had to look it up, also gives them the altimeter reading. It wasn't working. How come the plane was flying a little bit too low? Whoops. There's a power line there, transmission line. Yeah, it hit the power line. My stepson is down there. My wife likes talking to her grandson. That's her only grandson. The son only has one son. That's my Filipino wife there. Yeah. I was accused. Oh, you want some little Filipino to look after you. She almost died when she got to Calgary, Alberta, in the big hospital here. One Filipino nurse. Yeah, a lot of them are Catholic, so I sat in a little Catholic function. She was the only one that encouraged me to keep putting these essential oils that I'd learned about, E.C. Afner, European Standard, on her feet. Doctors didn't like it, okay? She encouraged me, said, no, keep doing it. She rests better, she's stronger. She's being kept track of by a doctor from Boston, one of the few world survivors. She lost a third of her bowels. They ruptured. Happened to be an emergency, otherwise she wouldn't be here today. But I was looking after her, not the other way around. Still has some complications from that. Used to have the colostomy bag. That wasn't working very well either. In and out of the hospitals, my goodness. And I'm trying to drive semi-truck at the same time. Well, but people just get all kinds of opinions. Yeah. There's Ruth. 4 weeks out. Feast of Weeks. Shavuot, Pentecost. Okay. See? This is where the guy's getting some stuff from. Yeah, Chuck Mesler, he put some... I've watched him some. He's into all kinds of stuff. He's not around anymore to even question these things. Okay. Whoops, that wasn't the right one. Okay. Yeah, we can spend hours. Have people watch their hockey games and everything else. Well, maybe if they actually learn some feast. Video unavailable. Okay, I don't know. Watch on YouTube. Okay, let's see what it goes here. Here. Mr. Mesler.
One day soon we're going home, up onto his lovely throne. We'll be with him and we'll be free in heaven for all eternity.
Kind of a nice song, huh? Soon I sing to be with our mighty King. Then soon, forevermore, on the golden sands, heaven's shore.
One day soon there'll be no fear when darkly glad.
See, I think this is what the young fella is caught up with this, and he was promoting the rapture on Pentecost. Okay, well, that's fits more with American pre-trib idea, doesn't it? Okay. Hey, middle of the road, like mid-trib now. Call it pre-wrath. just terminology. We get all uptight about terminology, you know. Doesn't have the word rapture in the Bible. Now, it has it in the Latin Vulgate. It's Latin for cut up. Oh, should learn just Hebrew. How many languages did they have above the cross? They had Greek, which is common. They had Roman, they're under Roman rule, and they had Hebrew. Like, God is able to work with different languages. Don't get this idea that only the English King James. Guy moved to BC. Synagogue of Satan. So, hey, better not to go in any Hebrew place. Really? There's my number. Calgary, Alberta. Put it right out there. When you take a brother, Paul talked to him, when you take a brethren to court, to a secular court, it's referred to as you're going to the synagogue of Satan. And you take it all out of context. There's Mr. Mesler there. Okay? He had some different viewpoints. I wouldn't say he's totally wrong. A very controversial guy. Oh, there he is. There, see?
Okay. Great to see everybody. And,
this is why it's on.
Mute myself and get Chuck on, and we'll come and talk.
There, I knew that. I kind of sense that. He makes references to Chuck Mesler sometimes. Okay? What was Chuck teaching? Transhumanism. Very controversial topic about the angels. The fallen angels were with the daughters of man. See, the traditional teaching teaches what? Oh, it's just the bad guys with... No. Just because it says angels don't marry. Yeah, they obey God. Doesn't mean they can't. The fallen ones were rebellious. Hey, Paul maybe didn't deal with something there. Kind of left that. Psalm 68, I kind of saw that. Okay. Psalm 68, we should go to that. Because that kind of deals with this whole aspect that Mesler dealt with too. I guess we'll go to that. Jeremiah. Psalms 90 away. Fly away. Oh, the rapture's not in the Old Testament. Really? They didn't have airplanes back then. Okay. Here. Where is it? Fly away. Oh, what's it talking about? Mount up with wings as eagle? Okay, maybe that's talking about airplanes, but, you know, I don't think it's talking about getting on the back of a bird. 68, I want. 68. Okay. Here. The rebellious also took captivity captive. What? And there, back up a bit. The chariots. How many chariots? It says 20,000. Just because it talks about one. As in Sinai. Okay, there's a situation then. As in Sinai. And it says, who was with him? The Lord. Gee, I thought he only came once as a little babe in the manger. Like, who walked with Adam and Eve in the garden? Peter was the pebble. Who was the rock that followed after him, came forth with living water? And, yeah, rocks actually move in the wind in the desert. It turns cold, a little bit of ice. It starts melting, very slippery when the ice has got a little bit of moisture on top of it. And if the wind blows, a rock can actually move. Wow! Isn't God amazing?
Let's bow our hearts. Father, we thank you for this precious book of
Thank you, Lord.
We do pray, Father, you'd open it to our hearts and understanding. Help us behold what great things you have done as we...
See, we learn from one another, but when we start following others blindly, because of some prestige or title of it, to, you know, Pastor so-and-so says such and such. Really? Truth does not need any justification who said it. 2 and 2 equals 4. Not because the teacher taught us. But 2 times 4 is also the same. Doesn't mean that 3 plus 3 and 3 times 3 is the same answer. See, unless we make some corrections, we can go off on tangents here. Okay? Doesn't mean I don't listen to other people. But when they start wanting to go off and teaching and rebellious also. See, Paul kind of left that off because, hey, Samson was rebellious. Remember the story of him and the wild women he was with? Delilah? Got in big trouble over that. His parents were not very happy about that. But when you're an adult, hopefully you obey his words. They were told not to. But he was rebellious. But God resurrected him, I believe, anyway. And said, hey, you're coming with me. The rebellious also. The angels rebelled. Okay? But they're already an immortal being. So, hey, unless you're the beast and the false prophet, I wouldn't worry about the lake of fire. What's Canaanite teaching?
This time together and ourselves.
Dave Hunt, I met him in Winnipeg, Manitoba. He wrote some interesting books. Seduction and Christianity and Beyond Seduction. Read them. He warns us about psychology in there. Another guy by the name of Botkin wrote a book. Guy gave it to me while I was at seminary. Psycho-heresy. The psychologist heard of the book, but he doesn't want to read it. But they put him behind the pulpit. Wonder why. Give itchy ears what they want to hear? Lots of stuff here. We can spend hours going through. My wife just likes to watch movies. I looked it up the other day. The Hebrew group. Maybe it wasn't posted yet. Maybe it's on now. This thing's still working? Yep. 38 minutes now. Okay. I ran out of time. Had to empty out the trash can too. So, hey, the Adventist thing, he's coming again, he's coming again. Okay. The second coming. Nowhere does it really say he just came once, or he's just coming. He said he's coming again. How many times? Hey, few people mentioned there's probably more than one. Yeah, I believe there's one catching up. Rapture every 1,000 years. Do we eyes to see? Hey, 7 is the number of completion. 8 is considered a new beginning. What's Revelation 21? New heaven and new earth. Hello. I go through. Okay. You can see my 2 feet here. Should have white socks. You can see it better. 2 feet. Try to fit most 2 feet into one shoe. Hey, an odd person loses a foot. Yeah, but they can actually, from the neck up, it's worth more than the neck down. They could help harvest strawberries and mushrooms from a wheelchair. There we go. Up from the grave he rose, with a mighty triumph for his foes. I was singing that in the song, radio. And we get the road report on the phone. The roads could be bad. Yeah, icy or whatever in the wintertime. One morning, the major road here in Calgary, Alberta, had a problem. We had to take a detour. Heard there was a 16-year-old killed. Hit the concrete bridge. Vehicle caught on fire or something. 16-year-old killed. Happens to be driving a Lincoln Navigator. They happen to say something about another Lincoln was involved with it. Hey, how many Lincolns around Calgary, Alberta? Sounds kind of odd. A couple days later, having some trouble with my old vehicle. It overheated. I needed the washroom, so pull in. Hadn't been there for a long time. A few of my friends are Jack Mormon. Yeah, his wife was Mormon. Took off at a party with some other. Now what does she do? Oh, she went to the wild side. Rebellious. Okay. The other guy, he sees a miracle in front of his eyes every time he looks at the sun. It's his only son. Boy, oh boy. She had him when they were building a new house. I was away driving truck. Okay. But pulled in the Mormon place. They happened to be talking. Saying some prayers for the family that lost their son. Yeah. 2 Lincoln Navigators. I think they knew each other. Road rage. Yeah. I had it confirmed another time. I saw the white shirts walking around with a tie on. Yeah, okay. So you kind of know who they are. So I asked him. Oh, his heart, he didn't want to discuss it. That really bothered his heart. See, there's so much into how they feel, okay? Hey, emotions are part of us, but we're not to allow what we feel. We're to be led by his written word, not by opinions and feelings.
On the golden sands of heaven's shore, one day soon, when we're at home.
Okay. Coming up here, June 1st, coming up. East of Calgary, Alberta. Hope some Americans watching this come up. I guess it was 1,400 adults or something rebaptized. Peter got out of the boat. He got dunked. He became bold. Okay? It's not salvation. Jesus is our salvation. Yeshua. It wasn't a bird that came on Jesus. He's our example. That's a Holy Spirit power. Okay? How can we keep boosting somebody else with it? You got to charge up your own battery. Get in the water. Okay? The guy on the cross didn't have the opportunity. Okay? But no, he didn't beat Jesus to heaven. You know? Like what? Like I learned that a little bit from the Adventists. But no, they want to still have their pagan Christmas. I said something about Passover. I was ushered out the door. Don't want to discuss it. Later I went to a more private function. Yeah, he doesn't want to discuss it. So I have to sneak in the side door. Go downstairs to a study and get kicked out again. Yeah. Hey, fulfilling Revelation. It says they will cast you out. So I was going more to the Filipino group. It's closer here. Other groups, I got ushered out different places. Lethbridge, Alberta, got ushered out. Hey, I found out different things when I was in Australia, Mr. Adventist. You went through a major denominational split like other denominations when Israel became a nation, didn't you? You try to hide stuff away. Okay? They're more into nitpicking in their own little groups. Okay? Jehovah's Witnesses just totally shun you. Hey, I got really question there too. If you don't know somebody, they might not let you in the door. Okay? You ever been to a memorial function of theirs? Really strange. First time I didn't know. They pass the cup around, little cracker, nobody takes it. Like, unless you're part of the 144,000. But they don't want to discuss it with me. That's Revelation 14 verse 4. Mr. Adventist, that's part of the three angels' message. Why don't you want to read it? You like your... There's no sheep in the high country of Israel in December. Christmas. You want to talk so much about... Then you hold the Christmas. What's the Mass all about? But you like your tradition of the tree. And some people, the Hutterites, don't like to have the tree. Good for them. But you pat yourself about the fourth day. What's the 10th commandment? What's it say? Those who keep the testimony of Jesus and the commandments. I think it's talking about all 10. That's covetousness. What do you think causes love to wax cold? Well, no, they pat themselves about the seventh day, Saturday. The guy knew exactly what I meant. When I asked him, what, are you a Sabbath or a Saturday keeper? He knew what I meant. With his fancy little truck all decked out like in the Philippines. The neighbor down here does that with his truck too. It's got every little toy, the fender skirts and this and that, and all decked out. They do that in the Philippines, trying to attract maybe riders to they call it a GP. I think they extend the frame out so they got no side doors. Yeah. You want to buy our house in the Philippines? I've never been there. Met my wife in Hong Kong. Okay.
Lovely mercy seat. One day soon, and so I sing.
48 minutes is still going. Okay. Sometimes I end up talking, the thing's cut off already. See, this is from Chuck Mesler's video. Okay, he's taking up some time here. So maybe he's got some other things doing or something, I don't know. Okay, here's another God a Minute one. Okay, God a Minute. Okay. On and on. Support 2012 Rapture. He made it some comments yesterday, but doesn't happen this coming Pentecost. Well, maybe in 26. Hey, what happened to Feast of Trumpets in the fall? You talk about these days, but you know, it's like riding a bicycle. Do you really know how to ride the bicycle unless you get in? Shows picture of water. Do you really know how to swim unless you're in the water? We have a form of godliness, psychology, denying the power of the Holy Spirit to lead us in harmony with His written word. We think we can learn about these things and not really get out of the one boat. My wife left the Sunday group, went right to the other extreme. She won't go anywhere else now. Got out of one boat, got into the other boat. How many people do that? The guy got left Romanism because he didn't like the idea of eternal punishment. Okay. Well, let's discuss it. what's going to happen if somebody's resurrected after 1,000 years? Sorry, we had you in the wrong place for 1,000 years. This is what people are teaching. It doesn't fit. The shoe doesn't fit. Stop it. So he left Romanism to, says he didn't get much out of the Israel tour. Why? Because you're with the Catholic group? I don't know what they show him. Okay? I got lots out of that. I went, saw the drones flying the banana plantation. No, the tour guide didn't know nothing about it. He really questioned Dead Sea Scrolls. No grass up there. I wonder what the sheep were doing way up there. He questioned that whole thing big time. I was on the way to the resort area at the Dead Sea. I wasn't even supposed to be on the group. There was a cancellation. Next thing you know, and the preacher says, "Oh no." And the Filipino guy wouldn't even talk to me for 2 weeks. Wait, what's the deal? Okay, maybe somebody took advantage of his sister in the Philippines. A lot of Filipinos have a real issue with foreign people. Why? It's a ticket for the girls to get out of the country. Is that why Solomon had so many wives? Hey, how many men? No, it's Bolivia went through it. 70% of the men are estimated were killed. So the guy comes from Europe. He's got money. And so they allowed him to have all kinds of wives. Why? It's a welfare system. Okay.
Going a little earlier than normal today, and we're going to share a live stream from Chuck Mesler. We've been going through a series through Ruth. We're on session 4 out of 5 sessions. We're reading the book of Ruth as it's...
You can see all his guitars. He's actually a music teacher. Okay? Now he's asking for donations. Okay? I don't know, the one guy online here. In Calgary, Alberta, showing that he looks like he's got a congregation. There's maybe 12 people in the building. And you send your donations, and I found out the address is in the U.S. Why? Got a lot more people in the U.S. More apt to get donations if it's American, maybe. Address in the U.S. Anyway, this fellow's, maybe he's got bills to pay too. Okay. Maybe he should stick to his knitting.
It's tied to Shavuot.
He's so caught up with this, like every day. I'm retired. Okay. These musicians, they get up on a stage and next thing you know, they think they're the theologian. Stick to your knitting, okay? You're not the theologian. These other ones come out with a diploma, half my age, and they think they're so smart. Hey, the child, I asked the 2 boys and neither can kind of remember, said the chariot separated. So then I started studying more about the chariots. Psalm 68. I think this is a reference to lots of chariots in Sinai. Okay. Well, who was in Sinai? Is that when Elijah was caught up? Maybe. I should find that out too. Always learning. Okay. The guy got a diploma, he doesn't want to read Zechariah chapter 5 from Shinner. That's where the missiles are. Dimensions of the missiles. The weight of a talent of lead. But no, they don't want to read it. So I kind of, he was scolding me, interrupting the young lady. Took me in his private study, accusing me. Yeah, interrupting the young lady. Happened to be my wife. How arrogant can these people be? See, all the guitars, he should stick to his knitting.
We start from Sunday, April 20th. It ends on June 8th of this year. So we're kind of entering that season. Next week will be in
the guy was into Hebrew stuff. He was so technical about stuff. Oh, it's A fish, not a whale. Okay. He called everything in the sea, like the Sea of Galilee. Is that a freshwater lake? I didn't know it. I thought a sea was salty. It's a freshwater lake. It's on the river. Mediterranean, twice as salty as the Atlantic. Hey, I've never been to the Black Sea. It's kind of landlocked there too. Maybe it's quite salty too. Evaporation of the water when it doesn't run out. Okay. That's why the Dead Sea, the river runs down there. It doesn't run out. It just evaporates. Yeah. The levels are getting low, but now there's Zechariah 14. There's freshwater fish in the sinkholes of the Dead Sea. Read it, Zechariah 14. That's how they're surviving under Gaza. They tried to flood them out. There's rivers of living water.
The Omar countdown.
And they're probably growing mushrooms underground too. They do that in North Korea. They did that in Paris during the Nazi occupation. That's how they're surviving in the catacombs underground. Okay? That the French resistance. How do I know that? Because my mother come out and she was part of it. Yeah, she came out of the Ukraine and somebody had tipped her off that they're looking for her. She jumped on one train but got off before got another train. And,
today is on Ruth 4. This video that I'm going to share is about 50 minutes, and then I'll come at the end, share some thoughts, and that'll be today's video, okay? Great to see everybody, and I'll mute myself.
So Lisa, you can see a little bit, and the guy, a watchman, pray for him. He's being sued, and they found a guy in the same little town to take the court case, and the guy was ticked off because the guy's preaching too much on the YouTube. They're offended. Oh, well, go turn to another channel then. No, they like to have their false information, and then they don't like what other people say. So this young fellow reminds me of my sons. Yeah.
Check on, and we'll come and talk to you in a second.
Yeah. You want to see my mugshot? I put my mugshot out there right away. Okay, look at my senior face. I put some stuff on my eyes, castor oil, use different things. Okay, haven't shaved. Should shave. Nigerian lady does some Uber driving for us once in a while. I said, "Hey, I didn't even shave. People want to accuse us." I'm not all primped up. I'm not going on a date with her. Okay? It's okay if some complete stranger picks us up with Uber. That's okay. Guy from Nigeria, the security was giving me static. Why didn't he say come out of his car and talk to us?
Well, whenever
Watches
we enter
us.
the Word of God, we should start with prayer. Let's bow our hearts. Father, we thank you for this precious book of Ruth. We do pray, Father, you'd open it to our hearts and understanding. Help us behold what great things
Turn
you as we
back to the video.
this time together and ourselves into your hands in the name of Yeshua, our kinsman redeemer, in whose name we do pray. Amen. Well, we're exploring the little book of Ruth, and we are in chapter 4 of a 4-chapter book. Book of Ruth. In the days that judges ruled. It's a contrast. The book of Judges is a grim...
See, we learn a little bit from each other. Maybe you watch some other YouTubes putting stuff on. You want to pan my room here? Okay, there's a globe. Huh. Looks round on there, but it's not totally round. But it's not flat. Okay? We can talk about that. There's a flat map. See how distorted it is? Greenland up there is not so big as on a flat map, okay? But the shorter route from England to Canada is by Iceland. They still do that with the big jets. Why? Because it's actually shorter over the top. Because it is not totally 100% round. But we go to the other extreme. And Book of Enoch has the flat earth stuff. And what? This Joel Richardson guy warns people, don't be deceived by it. And then he teaches out of it to discredit the pre-trib. Well, then he goes to post-trib, right? From one extreme to the next. Well, what does the Word of God say? Look it up. Want a post-trib? Here, we'll have some post-trib teaching. There's no resurrection from the Mount of Olives. The Lutheran guy was totally shocked, while some of his elders don't even believe Elijah went to third heaven. Oh, one baptism only, really? How many times did Solomon get baptized? How many wives did he have? There's a little hint there. They had to go through the mikvah tank. This is Canaanite teaching. Canaanite, not trader merchants that other versions read. Okay? Zechariah, come on, page is stuck. Oh, it gets dirty or whatever. Pardon me. Having troubles getting the page apart here. Oh, unreal. Got something stuck on there. Gonna tear the page maybe. Okay, a little difficulty there. Okay, we'll go to this other one. We'll get that fixed up later on. Got a little mucked up there. Yeah, well, that's the problem. Amos 1. That's kind of interesting. It mentions Gaza. You know that? Mentions Gaza. Okay? Amos. Zephaniah 2, it mentions Gaza too. Zechariah 14. Here we go. What does it say? Saints with thee. I wrote down White Horse. I think it was UCG was teaching the Armstrong from California. Got on the radio. Came from the East Coast. Got on the radio in California. It's growing. So, how do you get financed? And then teaches that the White Horse is the Antichrist coming. Really? Okay. Who was Simeon the sorcerer? Okay. This is back in Paul's time. He made Peter was killed after confronting Simeon the sorcerer. Okay. But no, he got it all in the future yet. Really. Feast of Tabernacles. Mentioned 3 times. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Get it? It's important. It's on the exam. Teacher's giving you a hint. You better know it. The ambassadors are going to be required to represent the nation. It talks about all nations will come against Jerusalem and shall even go up from year to year to worship the king. Okay? The ambassadors will represent the nations. Well, the ambassadors are already chosen. They're part of the group of the saints. And as far as I'm concerned, it says we should be known in the city gate. They talk about we should pray for our leaders. Well, I'm not in some other city. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. And yeah, they know me. Hey, I don't have to preach a gospel message every time to them. You know, the guy says, the guy in the gas station, did you know Jesus loves you? Well, yeah, a lot of people hear that. I talk to them about the volcanoes going off or the missiles. Like, this really wakes people up. Like, oh, you know actually something that is actually happening? The guy was totally shocked. Well, he knew that was over 100 years old. Maybe his grandmother's Bible or something. He says, well, how is that possible? I said, 2,500 years ago. See? The spy is not prophecy, because it actually confirms that it's not just a man-written book. But no, they think they can alter it. They have to change it enough to have it copyrighted so they can make $1. It's all about the money. Okay? Don't like this, don't like that. Living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them to the former sea and half to the hinder sea. There's live freshwater fish in the sinkholes of the Dead Sea. Huh. Guy with a tour group in his kayak. Maybe even put the fish there. I asked him how they got there. He wasn't sure. Oh, not sure. He didn't want to really say, maybe. But they get freshwater fish get in high mountain lakes. How? The fish egg can go through the bird. Timing has to be fertilized egg before it hatches, probably everything else. So the minnows are in the, okay? But we stock lakes. I was wondering about that, and a lady had similar to Harbor Freight. It's called Princess Auto in Canada. Okay. And how are they living in Gaza? Well, there's live to the former and half toward the hinder. So you can say, well, which sea is which? Well, Jerusalem's in between the two, Mediterranean and the Dead Sea. Okay, we just put names in. He just says the two seas on each side of Jerusalem. They tried to flood them out of Gaza. The water was flowing out as fast as it's going in. Yeah. Huge orchards they found. The aquifer under the desert sands fills up with the storms that comes across the Saudi Arabian desert. Okay? Huge orchards. But then now they're trying to teach, I heard this before, oh, that's another reason they want to get rid of Gaza, because they want to put this big canal through to compete with the Suez. Yeah, really. I've been there. I've looked at some of the elevations. I really don't think they're going to do that. Maybe more apt to do something they did in China. Have a great big elevator for lift up the whole ship. I think it's over by that big water dam they're always talking about, the Three Gorges Dam. They can raise the ship up. Yeah, they can go sailing for how far? Down the river. But they got to get it up. Oh, how do they get it up? It's called a huge elevator. Oh. Well, maybe they can do that in Israel too. And then they go down to Jordan River Valley, all the way to the freshwater lake, Sea of Galilee. Yeah, there's little minnows that kind of nibble on you. It kind of tickles. You wonder what's going on. And then there's a valley that goes from there. We can look at it. Let's look at it. Okay, here's the Dead Sea. This is the valley. Okay. You come up the valley. You raise it up here. You don't go across these mountains. Okay, or a tunnel. Up the valley. Okay. To the Sea of Galilee. And then there's valleys that go out to Haifa, the Mediterranean. You come across here. See, this here has got higher elevations. They actually have some skiing up here. They tried to divert the water, and they had a war over that too. Okay? The water comes from here, down here. This is all like a valley. And here's this valley here. Maybe you come across here. See, you see the green coming across here? Okay. I think that's better route. And you bring the shipping all the way into here. Then you have Jerusalem right, navigation route. Okay. Dead Sea. They harvest the salts here. Dead Sea salts. But this is twice as salty as Atlantic. But they don't seem to have a problem making fresh water. And what happens to the salt brine? Oh, it's going to be dead. No. Who says it's all 100% Dead Sea? It's salt's from Israel. This is salty? What? The power plant? Hey, as far as I'm concerned, they're doing stuff. A friend of mine got ticked off last time. I think he's ticked off at it. He's not getting a lot of work. He's just half corked out of his tree or something, and he ticked off at me. He texts me at 5:30 in the morning and phones me and accuses me of talking too much. Well, I guess maybe I was. Okay, but you're the one that phoned me. What, to just pump me for information, what crowdfunding was? Doesn't help me with anything. I help him boost his vehicle. Does he help me? Oh, he once in a while buys me. And I keep it under control. I have a senior dinner at Denny's. They have turkey bacon, by the way. They don't advertise it much. And you got to have it super crispy. So I said something. Well, it's like leather if you don't. Cook it more, and it's like a potato chip when it cools off. It snaps. Otherwise, it's like shoe leather. Okay. Here's Zechariah chapter 6, the branch. Who's the branch? Well, what are they teaching? Oh, it's a future third temple. Really? He says he, I believe it should be capital. He builds his temple after he comes back. There, I mentioned talent of lead here. From Shinar. We've got eyes to see. Read it. How come the eyes to see? How come the Swiss Guard is at the Pope's funeral? Eyes to see. When did that happen? When Napoleon took the two popes captive. General Berthet under Napoleon. And the Pope, first one, died in prison in France, so they locked out another one. Yeah. Is that Revelation chapter 13. Hey, the Adventists used to teach this. Not so much anymore. Hey, they like to have the psychology too. And, bring the tithe to them. And so then they're going to divide it up. Yeah, take the tithe from the little Filipino trying to raise a family so they can travel around the world. Who? To go to their other conferences. This is what they're doing. Ezekiel 34, they feed upon the sheep. Hey, did they want to teach that? Peter was told 3 times, feed his sheep. It's not their sheep. They're hirelings to look after the sheep. You don't have 99 sheep without somebody there to look after it when you're gone. Put the 2 parables together. He was a sheepdoor. Okay? The door is gone. He found other sheep. You don't leave them alone. They're hired. They're hirelings. They're not so free at all. My dad talked about it. They have to bow the knee to the influential people, the board members and stuff. The one guy, I think he didn't like putting it. He put the numbers and everything up there. Well, the other guy here, half their budget is spent on salaries. Over $1 million. $600,000. I asked the guy beside me, how many people they got on staff? He said 7 or 8. They're spending how much just on salaries? For what? Most of them are Asian people. Here's it. Behold, I send you Elijah the prophet. I used to like the song Paul Wilbur, Days of Elijah. But, yeah, Elijah's coming. When? I believe he's one of the 2 witnesses coming. 1,260 days is 42 months. Duh! Not Old and New Testament, Mr. Adventist. Elijah comes after. And no, most people will think a UFO or something takes them. Okay? You think the false teachers that are teaching post-trib and stuff are going to... No. Hey. Oh boy. See, for behold the day cometh. The same in Isaiah 66. But the Lutherans can go right through the seminary, and one guy didn't even know there was another complete chapter. What? I should ask the other Lutheran guy. You ever read Isaiah 66? And they only teach 65 in their seminary. Maybe it's a different Lutheran group, okay? Unreal. My grandmother knew German better. She used to go to the German function. Okay. Elijah knew. I wrote some notes down here. Comes to tell us no mainstream, no UFO every 1,000 years. Okay. So I was taking some notes while they're talking about this. The Hebrew groups, Messianic. Knock on the bottom of the... Oh, go have the kids at the door. Elijah's at the door. That's during the Passover. And they have eggs. I really question why they have eggs at the Passover. Ask them, show me in the Bible where it says you're supposed to have an egg on your Passover thing. Okay? I think it's a little run over from Easter bunnies, Easter eggs. My grandmother, when she learned it, she picked up the colored eggs and dropped them in the garbage. My wife shows up. She was gone all night looking after the kids. I could bring her back into town. Couldn't get the eggs in. Well, I took a row off and cut it off. Okay. And it fit in the fridge. They got some trouble with their car, I guess, and the car is going into the shop. Yeah, a nice new shop. Yeah. So I cut the paper off with scissors here. Okay. Here. Okay. Not a problem. Hey, you can use it for something else or trash it, I guess. There's my phone number again. Okay. 403-830-4124. Wish the guy from Hamilton, Ontario would try to call me. Instead of following Chuck Mesler. Chuck Mesler is waiting to be resurrected. Yeah, I told friends of mine they didn't make even 70, but it's not woe to them that stumble. Yeah, he had some problems. Where did the problem start? The wine at the communion function. They drink the whole thing. The priest would fill it up. So the young guys learned, well, we better not all be in one row. The priest fill it up, then we can drink even more. Wow. But what do they want to teach? Oh, just a little moderation. Do you actually believe a Nazarite turned the water into fermented wine? We call it fetal alcohol syndrome. You want to discuss it? Call me. I don't believe it. The guy comes in, checking things out. Their Mormons are more strict. Happens to sit at our table. The one lady knew it. Don't bring your homemade wine to our table. My daughter's here. But the other mother at the one big hotel function, she goes out and her kids are right there and gives them some. Oh, this is wonderful, isn't it? It clearly says it's for the aged, for the ill. Okay? Medicinal. They didn't have steam distillation, but you think you're going to buy your way into his kingdom? Hey, the super rich are buried in the Mount Olives. I know the name Brofman from Yorkton, Saskatchewan. Why? How do I know that? My grandmother taught me stuff. Okay? My grandmother lost her leg. My other grandmother from the Ukraine lost her husband. Stalin took him and son. And they thought they'd stay on the farm. Really? You take my husband and son away, and we're supposed to stay on the farm yet? 100,000-acre farms that Stalin made. They're on the New York Stock Exchange, Mr. American. Wonder why? Follow the money. Who owns what? Okay? It's hidden away. They don't want to talk about it. Not all the Jews are super rich, Mr. Walter Veth. They're not all from Kazakhstan or from Western Europe. Okay? Moses had a wife from North Africa. Ethiopians think there was a little thing with Bathsheba. No, Bathsheba was David. And I never saw anybody sunbathing on top of the rooftop. No, saw little solar panels. Never saw anybody bathing on top of the rooftops. Oh, my goodness. There was issues. Fly away. There it is. What do we got? Almost a minute, hour and a half. Okay. We're going to cut this off pretty soon here. Chuck Mesler here. Yeah. Transhumanism.
A special bright spot, Book of Ruth. And it's the ultimate love story. Even in colleges, they often study this as just an elegant piece of literature, just at the literary level. But of course, it's...
So, yeah, we know what this young fellow from Hamilton is watching. My sons, that's another whole issue. Well, yeah. My oldest young son, I had to remind him, tell him, if he's waiting for his mother's total approval, he'll never have a girlfriend. Wonder why the guy next door here is 42 years old. I thought he was a husband. He's bald. His mother actually looks quite young. I thought he was her husband. That's the son. 42 years old, living with mom and dad yet. Yeah, well, somebody needs a grandfather to clue him in. Okay. He didn't get out of the nest early enough. The mother eagle will have to even drop him out of the nest. Why? They get lazy. They get big and they're not going to fly. Hey. We get our hormones bouncing around when we're young, but when we get older, we have this thing. Oh, this is not your house? I've never seen the girl again. Hey, I should have realized that was the deal with my first wife, my cousin. I should have realized it. Had farm plate on the truck, and she was calling the truck her truck. Unreal. My ex-brother-in-law knows what the sisters and the mother was all about. Okay. Saw the mother rip off his dad right in front of his friends. Wonder why he sits around and doesn't say anything. When the mother's there. Guy aircraft, agricultural spraying. We can do this with the big drones now. That's a huge opportunity for Canadians. But no, Canadians are... Target found out. They pulled back. Canadians talk, but they don't. We wait around. Wait for the government to tell us what to do. Yeah, there's our new... I got marked in today. Yeah. Got our nice federal check. I paid in for how many years, and the Filipino figures he should have as much as I do. Really? My wife is the one gets the line of credit. Hey, I got the guy's card. He's more American. His wife's Canadian. He's at the local bank here, and he knew what an escrow account was. He at the business center. The young guy didn't know how to ask some more senior. Don't know how to take a company public, or the guy knows what an IPO is. crowdfunding. Good. I'll talk to him more. But my wife has got the line of credit. No, not the Canadian. We have to be squeaky clean. Well, how can I even pay my bills when it took me 8 or 9 months to get paid Federal Labor Board? What do you think the protest in Ottawa is about? Here, there's one. Isaiah 29. Ariel. Well, who's Ariel talking about? Well, read it further. Poured out a deep sleep. I had to check this out. I thought Ariel Sharon had died. No, he was 8 months in coma. I heard something about 8 months? Sorry, 8 years. In Calgary, Alberta, they pulled the guy off life support the same week to harvest his kidneys. Oh yeah, great medical system, huh? Stand in the queue, except when we want your kidneys, we'll pull you off life support like right now. Oh yeah, great medical. Is that what your mainstream media doesn't teach you that, do they? Okay? They're going through it. Alberta here just called by-election in 3 different ridings. Why? You think it's just in some other country that the election was rigged? Really? They hung the one guy from Montana, Regina, Saskatchewan, 1880, Louis Riel. The native even said he's not in favor of what their mainstream media. He says the chiefs from some other area wants to side with mainstream media. That's their choice. They were never one tribe. They slaughtered each other over food supplies. Yeah. Up north. The one chief told me the caribou herd didn't come through. There was bloodshed, but it wasn't caribou. Didn't matter who you're from down south. And they despise the different tribes up north. Okay? Why? They're old enemies. Israel had old enemies. Okay? Boy, what's still going on? Yeah. Where do you think the Palestinians come from? They wanted to annihilate them and Israel won the war? No, now we got a problem. And the Arab nations wouldn't let their enemies leave. No. We're going to create a political nightmare for the next 77 years now. I said, Joseph with Rachel, after 7 more years of work, Jacob left when he was 84. Jacob was 77 years old. We taught Jacob's trouble? Well, one wife at a time. No, you can't nail them down to the floor like a Christmas tree. Okay? If they choose to leave, what are you going to do? Put a yoke of bondage upon people? Say, it's one wife at a time. Like, come on. Get serious. Enough trouble. You get 2 wives. Hey, I think Solomon had... That's a welfare system. They didn't have maybe enough men. They happened in Bolivia. Okay, guy came from Europe, Scandinavian, Gussus, and back in Saskatchewan, the guy's an MP, a great big farm. The other cousins or whatever had the John Deere dealership. I can't believe some of the mainstream media, GM and John Deere and everything is shutting down. I don't know. You don't know what to believe anymore. Okay? Mount St. Helens went off. It changed the weather big time.
At the personal level, we start touching on that.
But they're saying West Yellowstone's going off. It's like, okay, there's been things happening there for years. The buffalo were running from the park. The summer grazing ground is in the high country, in the park. We used to go trucking down through there. Don't have the big hills like through Butte, Montana. You stop in, have some lunch, and rent a snowmobile and take a couple of hours off and go snowmobiling. You're right there. Like, used to enjoy getting away. Stuck in Arizona for a couple... What? One guy ended up, girlfriend argument with the company. He said, come and get your truck. I'm staying here for the whole winter. Other people got Hey, take these spider bikes built in Quebec, Canada. They love them in Australia. Warmer climate. That's where the main aftermarket is. Okay? Make it more all-weather. Put some electric motors in the wheels. Put a lot of protective shield over top of you. Okay? Stick your head out through the top or something. So you can drive through the mountain passes. Now you don't have to take a pickup truck with your motorbike to Arizona. Get in warmer weather after you're through the mountain pass. Take it off and put it on the trailer. Make it more weather. Okay? Lots of things we can do. Young people qualify. The foreigners come in here. They're more interested in stuff. Okay? Canadians? I don't know. We want a nice plush job. We want to sit back and the government's going to pay people to train to fix the big windmills maintenance. No, it's going to be a robot with a drone, not a rope hanging down with a person. Like, I can see the writing on the wall. Okay? No. These preachers, the guy can't even hardly back up his car. Doesn't even ask me when my car's broke down with any problem. They're busy. Busy doing what? The Book of Ruth. We can go through that, but that's where the young guy's getting the teaching. No, Pentecost happened. Okay? Like, there's my phone number again. Hour and 32 minutes. Okay, gotta end this. Okay? Call me. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Baptism, east of Calgary, Alberta. June 1st here at the little lake. It's an oversized slough. East side of the lake, south side of the town. Okay? Hope some of the Americans see this and come up. No, we don't hate each other like the media is pumping out. Half of Alberta's from where? The oil people from Texas, Oklahoma. The ranches from Montana. The cow doesn't even know where the border is. Gosh sakes. They dragged a plane over the border from Sweetgrass to the training fields and flew them over the top, past Greenland. And guess what's in Greenland? Yeah, you got Greenlanders there with more darker complexion with kinky hair, something like the nieces with Jamaican background. Afro-American fathers from the war years and stuff. And it would have been occupied by Nazi Germany because they wanted to disrupt the supply lines, and the planes were landing in Greenland. Come on. But they still fly from... Why? It's actually shorter. Because the Earth is not totally round. It's maybe a little more like a football or something. Okay? What? The volcano? Down here? Australia? Sorry, flat earthers. It stayed more south of the hemisphere. If it goes off in Indonesia, it might go either way, affecting the weather. But flooding around Australia on the coast, they had a record crop yields. How come the price of grain is down? Oh, we're going to have a shortage of grain. Ukraine, because of the war, we're going to have a shortage of grain. Really? Hey, Australia had record crop yields. Yeah. How come we're not told that? How many things aren't we told? Oh, the preachers, they go around. They got a diploma. They think they know so much. Hey, Mr. Rabbi Singer, Mr. Super Rabbi, you know so much about stuff. Are you going to deny the state of Israel? Are you going to deny this happened in our lifetime? I don't have to use the New Testament to preach a gospel. It's all in the Old. The new is expanding upon the old. The mysteries being revealed. Paul made of those. The prophetic things that were foretold are happening. Yeah. No. You want to listen to some guy that doesn't believe in Jesus, Yeshua? Hey, twist everything around. Is he denying this happened? I guess he's denying his heritage, the state of Israel. And no, there's not one gospel. This is what the Spanish Inquisition and stuff is all about. What's the war in the Ukraine really all about? Hey, be sure there's other issues. Well, my dad talked about it. How come they firebombed Dresden, Germany? The war was practically over. Well, where was Luther from? But we're supposed to bury the hatchet, kind of a narrative term. Forgive and forget. Really? Do they want to change? We're supposed to love everybody. Guy in San Diego says, supposed to love everybody. I said, yeah. But that doesn't mean we agree with our enemies and do what they're doing and sleep with them. We got this idea of love, we just do whatever they want to do. Hey, make jokes about it. I don't despise economic discrimination. Is more real than this other stuff put together. I have lots of Nigerian friends and everything. It ticked me off. I'm human. It ticked me off, and I don't care who you are. Same Caucasian Canadian, and a lot of Albertans with inherited wealth got their nose stuck up in their rear. People that come from Saskatchewan are that way. No, they're not. The ones that have inherited wealth, the ones that have left. Hey, I know the guys from Dragon's Den. Why? We talk to everybody.
We're going to focus on that, especially in this.
Chuck Mesler, Dave Hunt. Yeah, I met him in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Okay, read his books. Seduction of Christianity, Beyond Seduction. He was in the little Lutheran Church library. Nobody reads it. I should take it back to him, but I circulate it around. Leave it on the shelf. Why? Nobody was reading it. Okay? Car's not working. It's not as easy to get there. I have to walk up a great big long hill from the train. Okay. Maybe I will someday. I've done it a few times. Okay. Canaanite. Okay. What's that all about? The Adventists kind of have a little teaching, I think, from Cain and Abel. Okay. But don't go following them. They don't even want to give up pagan Christmas and Easter. Perry Stone, Mr. Stone, went back that way. Maybe family pressure or whatever. Oh, it's the only time of the year the world recognizes Jesus. Yeah, it's a little babe in the manger. Everybody likes a little baby. Later on, when he gets older and he starts saying things, they were ticked off at him. Who? The rich Pharisees. You're fair, you see. I'm better than you. Got my nose stuck up my rear. Okay, you know what that means by that? Little British humor here. KFC is named what? FCK. Hey, don't say the F-bomb word in Canada. That's a big, big no-no. You can say JIC all you want and oh my God, and that's not a problem. But don't say the F-bomb. We use it as an adjective. Scratch your nose. I sold the kids the other day. Scratch your nose with your one finger. Your nose is a little itchy. We don't have to go picking it inside. Noses are special because they're hand-picked. Okay, so scratch it on the outside a little bit. Next time you scratch it with your middle index finger, and they don't know you're just scratching your nose or telling them. Yeah. Sign language. The guy from Yorkshire, England, we could hardly even understand each other when we're harvesting in the U.S. Custom harvester. Unless you're the farmer, you're reaping what you have not sown, unless you're paid for the farmer. But what do they teach? What are they doing? Reaping what they have not sown. Have they actually helped you? Abraham paid a tithe to Melchizedek after he did what he was told, and after he prospered. What are they teaching? Reaping what they have not sown. They haven't helped you. Put an IOU on the plate. Okay? Blow it out your ear. No wonder they didn't like me on the tour group. Why? I dare question what they're teaching. What? Truth does not mind being questioned. It doesn't need status to support itself. 2 and 2 equals 4. Not 3 or 5. And 2 times 2 also equals 4. But that doesn't make 3 times 3 and 3 plus 3 the same answer. Make some corrections, Mr. Mesler. Oh, yeah. Hour and 40. Have a good day. There's my number again. I don't think Mr. Mesler will be calling. He's waiting for the resurrection, too, like a lot of people are, from the last 1997 years. Hey, we're coming to the end of the 2000. So what's going to happen here? What was the April 8th solar eclipse all about? 2 years ago, the people were saying in the fall, and I said, no, solar eclipse comes first. Happened to fall over a capital A, Omega, Alpha, rather. Omega formed the Euphrates, I think, at the same time, seen by a drone. Okay? This is the times we live in. Not woke. Wake up. Walk in the light, lest the darkness overtake it. How come people are going back to the Eucharist? Oh, I don't really like the Lutherans with their little round little wafer with a cross on it. I didn't care for that. And the fermented, they have different juices. But I think he got a little static where it's supposed to be part of the functions. Got to be through their classes, something like the foundation class with Joel Richardson teaching what? The guy in Lethbridge says, well, you're not Jewish, Al, so it doesn't matter. I looked at him and said, my Bible says there's neither Jew nor Gentile. Like, what are you teaching here? He might be up at Chestnut here. He talks to me. He hit the roof about the tithe situation. Right in a public restaurant. Just totally lost it. Okay, I said, what, we can't even discuss it? No. It's their paycheck. They don't want to discuss it. All right. Gotta stop this. Have a good day. Lord, bless this and give us ears to hear and eyes to see. In the name of Jesus, Yeshua. Amen.